Let's do this.
It's showtime.
You're listening to the Thoughts of a Blog Queen podcast.
These are just my thoughts.
With your host, LaRae Renee.
A woman, her thoughts, and a mic.
Are you ready? Check this out.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Entry 39 of Thoughts of a Blog Queen podcast. I am your host, LaRae Renee, also known as Blog Queen, and y'all know what that sound means. If you're new here, you might not know what that sound means, but if you aren't new, then you know that means it's time for you to bring your cups and let me fill them up. All right, so I got our 3 affirmations for this entry, and yeah, take these with you. Y'all know, put them in your pocket, put them up for later, use them tomorrow morning, share them with others, because that's what we do. We pour into others. We fill our own cups up, and then we pour into others, and then we make sure that we come back and we refill our own cups, right? Because we cannot, absolutely cannot pour from an empty cup. All right, so you guys ready for these 3 affirmations? All right, let's get it. And I got them. I got 3 good ones. We're gonna I'm gonna give you an affirmation in self-belief, self-care, and self-love. Okay, so affirmation number 1: I believe in myself and my potential for greatness. I am the architect of my destiny, and I am fearless in pursuing my goals. That is your affirmation in self-belief. All right. Affirmation number 2 is in self-care. I find strength in vulnerability. I give myself permission to heal from the things that hurt me. I make time to process strong emotions. All right. And then your 3rd and final affirmation is in self-love, and it is I am loving, loved, and lovable. I love myself, I accept myself, and I support myself. All right, so those are your 3 affirmations for this week. All right, so you guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another entry. This is part 2 of our Clearing Her Clutter series. This is only 2 parts. So if you tuned in today and you didn't check out the first part, go back 1 episode, tune into that, and then come back here. Meet me back over here. It's not absolutely necessary if you didn't listen to the last entry, but it's good. We talked about clearing out our clutter. Part 1, we talked more about the focus on the physical things that are around us and how they are attached to mental clutter, right? And so the second part, which I'm hoping that I can deliver this to you shorter than the first entry, is we're going to go through these 5 self-reflective questions that you can ask in assisting you with this process of clearing out the clutter. So today we're kind of focusing more on the mental side of it, if you will. Like, we're going to get into kind of like the reasoning, and I want to always give you guys maybe like just something to think about, something to kind of reflect on. And then I'm going to give you guys your journal prompt. I hope you guys are keeping a journal of your thoughts. I will, I stand for journaling. Listen, I'm going to always encourage it. I'm going to always take part in it. I'm going to always push you guys to journal your thoughts, because I'm telling you, when you are on any kind of journey, any healing journey, any self-love journey, any type of journey, when you go back and you look at some of the things that you've written down and how far you've come, baby, it's a good feeling to see how far you've come. It's a good feeling to see how your mindset on certain things have changed. And I mean, when you journal, like, your journal is your safe space. Your journal is a space that nobody, nobody gets some of the thoughts that go into the journal. You are raw. You are real. You are rare in your opinions and your thoughts and things. You put it there, and that's never be not authentic in your journal. Always be. Whatever you're thinking in that moment, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doubting, whatever you're promoting, whatever you are trying to forgive yourself for, whatever you're trying to forgive someone else for, whatever you're angry about, whatever, anything, always journal it, because I'm telling you how fulfilling it is to go back and look at something and see what you've overcome, see how something may have changed your perspective, see how the growth. The growth is documented. A journal is a book of documented growth. And I'm telling you, and when we're much, much, much older and we go back and you save these journals and keep them up for safekeeping, and when we're much, much older, it is going to be something to sit back and read all of the things that we went through. So anyways, yeah, let's get into this. We're talking about clearing out our clutter. We're talking about all of the things that keep us tied to things, right? So we're talking about the clutter in our spaces, where we are the most, in our homes specifically, is what I wanted you guys to focus on. And I wanted you guys to actually try to tackle getting some of the clutter out. And let me just take a moment to shout somebody out. Shout out to a good social media connection, friend, Shytavia, for her wonderful support that she's given thus far. And I was like a proud mama. She did an amazing post on TikTok, and she cleared out her. She listens. First of all, she supports my platform fully, and she listened to the last entry, and she did the work, y'all. She actually did the work, and she found like it to be helpful, you know. And from what she's saying, like, she actually did the work, and she did a post, and she got around to finally clearing the clutter in her closet, and I love that for her. I appreciate her so much. It is amazing. I'm getting off topic, but I have to, like, I just want to put this out there into the space, because people that support me, I always want to support people. But people that it's amazing how we make these connections online across the internet spaces with people that we've never met, and how they become really important to us, really important to our growth, really important to our platforms, and they support us from afar. They support us without thinking twice, and we don't always get that energy in our actual world, right? So anytime you come across it, you appreciate it. And you want to give back, but you want to always try to pour into people without the expectation of getting anything back. And I feel that genuinely from her. I support her. Listen, she does workouts, and she does morning meditations, and her workouts are amazing. They're really fun. And I finally got to catch one, because I was like, listen, I need you to do these on the weekends, because she was doing them during the week, and she finally like started incorporating them on the weekends. But anyways, yeah, she's good. She's good, and I wish nothing but the best and all of the things that she wants for herself. I send that energy her way, because it's genuine. It's not just that I'm gonna support you, just like, you know, just how I'm just support you online just because I'm a, you know, and no, it's never gave that with her. And so I want you guys to make sure you connect with her. I'm gonna have her information in the show notes as well, so that you guys can find her on your social media, on Instagram and on TikTok, and yeah. But anyways, so back to what we were talking about, the clutter. So we're going to use this entry, and we're going to talk about 5 self-reflecting questions that we can ask ourselves when we're thinking about the clutter that we're trying to clear through our minds, and not just our physical spaces, just the clutter that we have in our minds. And I'm going to use the 4 A's of self-reflection. I'm going to use those as points to give you these questions, right? And so I'm gonna stay with you. We're gonna go through these questions, and we're gonna try to break them down. And so we're gonna talk about the awareness, the analysis, the alternatives, and the action. But we're gonna have 2 action steps, because I'm gonna give you 5 self-reflective questions. So if you don't have your journals, go get your journals. And let's get this going. And don't forget, we're gonna do a journal prompt at the end of this. And I want you guys, if you do this journal prompt, email me, message me, DM me, wherever you're connected to me, and let me know. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about self-reflecting on how we can clear out our spaces. First of all, let's talk about the awareness of it. in order to do anything, you got to be aware, right? You got to be aware of what it is that you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. So in terms of the awareness of clearing out our mental clutter, what is the extent of the clutter and how has it been affecting you? All right, that's your first question, y'all. What is the extent of my clutter and how has it been affecting me? That's the awareness of it. So when you have a cluttered mind and you're aware that you have a cluttered mind, and what are the signs of having a cluttered mind? First and foremost, it's the cluttered spaces. But there's exhaustion. There's a feeling of overwhelm, like an overwhelming feeling. There's procrastination. There's lack of motivation. There's anxiety. These are all signs of having a cluttered mind. So what is the extent of it and how has it been affecting me? Well, this is what we were talking about. When you have a cluttered mind, the first physical thing that you may see, aside from the physical things that your body may be experiencing, it's the spaces. So that is like the first indicator that you might just be going through. You might just have too much going on in the mind, and you need to start figuring some things out. Because if it's taken away from the things that you want to do, if it is causing you to procrastinate, that is my biggest sign of when I have a cluttered mind, because I begin procrastinating on things. Procrastination, I can honestly tell you guys, has been my biggest weakness when it comes to my goals. And so with that, I understand that that is a result of a cluttered mind. And then that's when I get to start cluttering things up in my spaces, specifically in my office space. So I have identified and I have become aware that when I have a cluttered mind, I begin to procrastinate. That is my own personal sign of clutteredness. Is clutteredness a word? I don't know, y'all. Clutteredness. I made it a word. I made it a word. Procrastination is my personal sign of having a cluttered mind. So that is the awareness of it. What is the extent of my clutter and how has it been affecting me? These are the questions. These are the questions that you need to answer, because these are the things that are going to help us to get to where we need to be at the end of this. Because I want you guys to work on this. I want you guys to work on it. I want you guys to journal about it. And I want you guys to actually try to do something to help get through this, because we can be our best selves. We can be, or at least be a close version of our best selves, because, we're not always going to be our best self. We can be a close version of our best self, but sometimes we have to actively continue to work, and we can always get better. Is there ever really an end to our best self, or can we continue to keep growing? So we can be a version of our best self when we start working on these types of things, right? This is the work that we want to do, and we're doing this together, y'all. I cannot stress this enough. I speak from experience. I speak from observation. I speak from research I've done. I speak from just coming from a place of wanting to do my own self-work, and I want to take you guys with me while we're doing this self-work, right? This is not coming from a place of like judgment. This is not coming from a place of a coach trying to sell a program, or someone who has a degree in psychology or anything like that. No, this comes from a place of the self-help. The girlies who want to do the self-help, the self-work. We're trying to do some things. And so in order to be successful at the things we're trying to do, this is the type of things that we really got to pay attention to and take it serious. We got to make these things a priority, just like we make anything else. Our jobs, our businesses, our families, our relationships, marriage, kids, the gym, all of these things, the self-work, these are priorities too. All right. let's move into the next part. The next question. Question number 2. And we're going to use the analysis for question number 2. Because remember, I'm giving you guys the 4 A's of self-reflection. And this is how I'm going to give you your 5 self-reflecting questions. So we already went through the awareness. That was the first step. We got to be aware of what it is that we're trying to clear out. We got to be aware of the fact that we have a cluttered mind. Question number 2, the analysis of it. What are the spaces that I need to work on? What are the spaces that I need to work on? So we need to make an analysis. What is the analysis of this? What are the spaces that I need to work on? Like I was telling you guys about my friend Shytavia, she identified and the analysis that she really came to grips with, she really needed to work on her closet. That was the space that she needed to start with. That was the physical space that she needed to start with. In order to begin to try to work on clearing her mind, she needed to work on her closet. For me, it was spaces in my office. Individual spaces in my office where I would keep clutter. That's where I had to start tackling first. And the closet that's another beast. Yeah, I need to do my closet too. Because you can have an organized closet, you can have a clean closet, but you can still have clutter in the closet. Because remember, clutter can still be very much organized. Clutter can also just be a collection of things that you just no longer need. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be messy or out of place or unorganized, but there's still clutter when you have a collection of things that you don't need. Yeah, okay. The analysis. So what are the spaces that I need to work on? So when you physically identify the spaces that you need to work on, whether it's in your office, it's your closet, if it's a storage space, whatever the physical spaces are, what are the mental things that you need to work on? So like I just told you, for me, it's procrastination. So what am I procrastinating on? What am I procrastinating on? This directly affects some of the goals I have with writing. Because one of the big major things that I'm trying to accomplish is getting a very specific written project completed. And because I have so many thoughts and so many ideas and so many just overwhelming feelings of not getting it right, not putting out what I want to put out exactly, I procrastinate on it. And that's holding me back. So the space that I need to work on is the goal that is connected to the writing projects. I need to figure out ways that I can clear that out. So how can I do that? In terms of me completing a writing project, what do I need to do? So then that's where I need to do a deep dive and to figure out what I can do to assist me with this writing project. And you sort there. So once you figure out, once you've done an analysis of the spaces that you need to work on, then that's where you start clearing things out. That's where you start organizing things. That may come in the form of, do I need to connect with a publicist, which is something that I've been thinking about. Do I need to connect with a writing coach? Do I just need to do a little bit more research online? What do I need to do? And I want you guys to visually, when you figure out the analysis of what you're trying to do, I want you guys to visually put this information out. So whether that is making a list, using your journal, and also when we talk about journals, you guys have multiple journals. Listen, I got a manifestation journal. I have a personal journal. I have a work journal. I gotta break these things down. I have a journal that I use for inspiration for the things that I'm trying to work on, like a creative journal. I have just my personal life journal. I have the journal, the manifestation journal specifically just has the things that I am trying to manifest. And that's what I said. That's an amazing thing to go back to. When you start writing down and journaling about the things that you're trying to manifest, and then you go back and look at all of the things that actually manifested, y'all. I'm telling you, It's an amazing feeling. So visually put these things out. Visually write these things out so you can see it. Get a whiteboard in your office space and write it out. Write it out. See it. See what you need to work on. This helps in manifesting as well. Write the vision, make it plain, right? That's what they say. Listen, that's scripture. But y'all know I'm not gonna get religious on y'all. But that's scripture. Write the vision and make it plain. See what it is that you're trying to do. That's how we're connecting that to the analysis. So that was question number 2. Self-reflective question number 2. What are the spaces that I need to work on? And then make a list. Use a journal. Get you a whiteboard. Get you a bulletin board, pin some Post-it notes, whatever you need to do to visually see it. That's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to see what it is that you're trying to do. All right, let's move along. I'm determined to get y'all out of here quicker today because last part 1 was over an hour, I think. So, but I don't want to rush through this because I want you guys to get it. I want us to get it. So the third question, the alternatives, is connected to the alternatives. What is the plan? And what could I do to resolve whatever the plan is? How can I avoid it? So that was kind of like 3. My bad, y'all. That was kind of like 3 in 1. That was like the third question with A, B, and C. There was levels to to question number 3. So what is the plan? What can I do to resolve any quirks in the plan, any flaws in the plan? What can I do to resolve it? And then how can I avoid those kinks in the plan? Because there will be kinks, but you'll come across those kinks like as you're trying to go through the plan. But you got to first come up with the plan. So let's continue to use me as the example. So if I know that procrastination is the result of my cluttered mind, and I know that it is affecting me getting writing goals done, what is the plan? What is the plan? What is the resolution for this plan? So you want to, and that's where you go back to the analysis. So you put all of these things into an action plan, right? Which we're coming up on action. We put everything into a plan, and then we figure out what is the resolution. At the end of this plan, if there are 5 steps to your plan, what is the resolution? What is it that you want to see? Ultimately, we're talking about clearing the clutter in our minds, right? So that's the big plan. But like I just said, there's levels to this. We got to get through this. We got to work through this. It just, you know what I'm saying? We got to ease into it. It's not just going to happen. And sometimes, guess what? Plan A might not be given. So then we got to do plan B. And for me, as an overthinker, as a big time overthinker, listen, your girl always got a plan A. I got a plan B. And I'm going to be teeter-tottering on a plan C, just in case plan B fall. Like, that's me. And I don't know, you know what? We'll come back to that because I don't know if that's, that might be a good thing. And that might be that, I know it's an anxiety thing, but yeah, that's how I am. I always got to have a plan for something, especially when it comes to things like this. But I think in this case, that's a good thing to have a plan. So we want the plan, and we want to figure out what it is that the resolution is going to be as a result of this plan. And then when we discover any kinks in it, we're going to figure out how we can avoid that. So like I just said, when we have plan A and we have plan B, If for whatever reason plan A falls through and we have to go to plan B, what did we learn when we were working through plan A that we can apply to plan B? How can we avoid the kinks from plan A? So for me, what I figured out is that I have to give myself more space. Y'all have heard me say this before, space and grace. I have to give myself more space and grace on things. Because if you are a person that just is so strict on yourself and you want to just push yourself to have things done and be done in a perfect way, and you put the pressure on yourself, that's where you're gonna drop the ball ultimately. So when you give yourself that space and grace, that's how you're better equipped to deal with whatever it is that you're trying to deal with, or you're better equipped to execute the plan and be successful at whatever it is. So time management falls into some of the things that affect me personally, or that I struggle with. And then I'm trying to figure out all of these different ways, all of these ways to cut corners in terms of time. And then I get overwhelmed by that too. So that's adding on to the plate of things that I've already got in my mind. So it's when you start approaching these kinks in your plans, that's when you start adding on to the clutter. And so one of the things that I had to do to avoid that particular issue is that I had to stop trying to work on certain projects during the week because I didn't have the time. Number one, because I still work. I work a 9 to 5, and so I figured out that when I was trying to go from one extreme of work to the other without giving myself that space and grace in between to even reset my brain and my thinking, I was just trying to dive right into it because, listen, there's only so many hours in a day, and I just feel like, no, that wasn't working for me. I'm not saying that doesn't work for other people. It very well may be how you get things done. And if it works for you, I'm not here to change anything that works. It didn't work for me. I wasn't giving myself enough space and grace in between working 8 to 5 and then getting off at 5, trying to eat something really quick, and then trying to jump into my own things. I could not do that. So I had to dedicate a very specific time, an intentional time, to work on things that had nothing to do with my day job. That's the space and grace. That's how you do that. All right. And then the fourth A, quote unquote, fourth A, is action. And then I'm going to give you 2 self-reflective questions that fall under action. Because I told you guys I have 5 self-reflective questions for you. So the first action question is, what steps in what order am I going to take to get my spaces cleared? So this is where you have taken the analysis, you have gone through the alternatives, and that plan that you've come up with, that you've decided this is what I need to do. So now, how are you going to execute it? What steps in what order? That's the first action plan. And you're going to go back to the analysis and you're going to write these things down because you may not have did that before. But I want you to be very specific, very intentional, and very purposeful when you put these things in order, because the order, they matter. So what steps in what order am I going to take to get my spaces cleared? What are you going to do? What you going to do, sis? How? How are you going to do it? And then The second action question and the fifth and final, what follow up and follow through process will I follow to avoid this clutter from reoccurring? Because by the time you get here, you should have figured out a way and sorted through. And listen, there's not a time limit on this. This may not happen in a day. This may not happen in 3 days. This may not happen in a week. But by the time you get to ask your second action question, you should have sorted through, and you should have, based on the four questions prior to this final question, you should have figured out a flow, or at least got an idea. And at this point, this is where we go in. This is where we implement. This is where we implement. This is where we dive in. This is where we stand on business here. This is where we're going to do it. Because we can talk about it. We can talk about it. We can talk about it. We can see, you can come here and you can listen to me all day long. And you can say, oh yeah, that sounds good. Or you can come here and you can support, or you can, and know in the back of your mind that this is something that you really need to work on. But are we going to be a part of the people that actually implement? Are we going to be a part of the people that actually go through with what it is that we're trying to go through with? So what follow up and follow through process will I follow to avoid this clutter from reoccurring? Because once you get this space cleared out and you've accomplished it and you feel good about it, it can be so easy to get back into a cluttered space again. And guess what? It might happen. It might happen again. Clutter occurs. It can be a reoccurring thing. It can be, unfortunately. But when we figure out the way that we can, work through it, breathe through it. Once we figure that out, then it's just like, okay, we're tackling it like we're tackling all of our other things that we have to tackle in life. We get to it and it's not a problem because we've figured out how we ourselves personally can master working through our clutter. And that's just like, seasonally, we might need to clear out our clutter in our closets or wherever the spaces that we needed to clear out. We might have to do that seasonally. We might have to do that at the end of the month. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to have to clean out my little junk drawer probably at the end of the month. I already know this. But I'm looking forward to using that as kind of like a little mental tool. Because as I'm clearing out my junk drawer and I'm getting rid of, removing and I'm throwing away and I'm organizing and I'm just sorting through that junk drawer at the end of the month, I'm using that as a mental catalyst to sort through whatever it is that's going on through my mind that I need to sort through. At the same time, it's representation is what it really is. I'm telling you and I'm encouraging you to go through and find a space in your home that is cluttered, and I'm asking you, or I'm encouraging you to use that as the representation for your mind. And are y'all with me? Use that. If it's the closet, as you are going through and sorting and removing things and finding out what goes, what stays, what's going to be donated, what's no longer good. As you're doing this, use this mentally. Figure it out. I'm telling y'all, it works. I promise you guys, it works. It helps. It really helps. And I'm telling you that it's not going to be an end all be all type of deal. You will probably have to do this, I'm talking about it because I experienced it. I do this all the time. I clear my clutter all of the time. Spiritually. Oh, I should have did 3 parts because we could talk about spiritual clutter. We could talk about that, but that should have been a bonus. Maybe I might throw that in there, but I'm not going to do that. But listen, when I need to clear some spiritual clutter, baby, my higher power speaks to me in that shower and lets me know what I need to clear out. And I let that water that falls down on me, and then goes down the drain, that's clearing out the clutter, the spiritual clutter. And I had an amazing, it's Self-Care Sunday. Y'all know today's Self-Care Sunday, and I had an amazing experience, amazing shower experience. Oh, it was in me. It was in me and on me, baby. But I digress. I'm not going to talk about the spiritual clutter. I'm not going to do it. But if you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. So our final question again, if you missed it. What follow-up and follow-through process will I follow to avoid the clutter from reoccurring? Because even though I said it might reoccur, and it's very likely to, we want to try to prevent it from happening after a week or after a month. Seasonally would be better, right? If we're able to get through and be able to do this type of exercise, this type of self-help exercise, maybe seasonally, 4 times a year, that would be great. Some of us might need it every month. I just told y'all I'm probably going to be clearing my junk drawer at the end of every month. But I look forward to that. I find the benefit in a lot of things, and I find the connection in a lot of things that I do. And that's how I am able to kind of create a lot of the things that I create and share with my community. So, yeah, those are the 5 self-reflective questions. I can do this. I'm going to run through them really quick to make sure you have them, because I want you guys to write them down. Question number 1, awareness. What is the extent of my clutter and how has it been affecting me? Question number 2, analysis. What are the spaces that I need to work on? And you're going to make a list, use a journal, get a whiteboard, etc. Because we want to visualize it. We want to see it. You want to write it down. Question number 3, alternatives. What is the plan? What can I do to resolve any kinks in the plan? And how can I avoid these kinks? Question number 4, action step number 1. What steps in what order am I going to take to get my spaces cleared? And question number 5, action step number 2. What follow up and follow through process will I follow? I hope that made sense to you guys. Will I follow to avoid the clutter from reoccurring? So, when you start doing these things and when you start implementing them into your daily routine or your weekly routine or your monthly routine, however you want to prioritize this, let me tell you what is going to happen when you start learning how to clear out your clutter. You want to know what's going to happen? You're going to start shifting. Things are going to start shifting. And I mean this in the best way possible. Things are going to shift. Shifting is going to be the result of you clearing out your clutter, because then you're going to start seeing things clearly. You're going to start paying attention. You're going to start paying attention to the things that you need to work on. You're going to start paying more attention to the things that are just useless. Shifting. Can that be our word of the year? Do we already have a word of the year? I think I said on a few episodes our word of the year was still. We've been stuck on accountability for a minute. Shifting. Shifting is the word of the year. Shifting is our 2024 word of the year, because I know personally I've been doing a lot of shifting. And I saw something. I want to tell you guys what I found that I read, and I thought it was very it made perfect sense. It says, as you are shifting, you will begin to realize that you are not the same person you used to be. The things you used to tolerate have become intolerable. Come on. When you once remained quiet, you are now speaking your truth. Okay. Where you once battled and argued, You're now choosing to remain silent. And that was the one for me. You're beginning to understand the value of your voice, and there are some situations that no longer deserve your time, energy, and focus. This is what we are trying to do. We are trying to shift, but we cannot shift when we have cluttered minds. So that's why we are working on these cluttered spaces, so that we can clear our cluttered minds, so that we can begin to shift. Because when you're trying to shift and your brain is cloudy and you got too much going on, you shifting, but you ain't moving nowhere. You just shifting in place. No, we're really trying to shift. We're really trying to shift. Because what we don't realize is that we are out here. Listen, y'all know that trend that's going on right now on TikTok talking about we're paying off each other's debts. Y'all know, I know y'all know, if you hanging out on TikTok, you know about this whole paying off each other's debt. Well, listen, this is what we're doing. We are paying off people's mental debts. And you know what we're using to pay for it? We're using our time. We're using our energy, and we're using our focus. This is what we're using to pay off people's mental debts, because people are coming to us, people are coming around us, people are coming into our spaces, and people are hanging around in our lives, and they're bringing this energy to us, and we are paying it with attention. So, and we're doing this because we got so much other stuff going on. We're not realizing that this is a part of the problem. This is a part of the problem too. We're using time, energy, and focus. Do y'all know how expensive time, energy, and focus is, baby? Are y'all listening? Do y'all know how expensive time, energy, and focus is? So if you are going to use that, there needs to be an exchange of currency. If I'm using my time, my energy, and my focus on you, there needs to be an exchange. This needs to be an equally beneficial exchange. Because you can't just be coming to me bringing this energy that is not serving me, that is cluttering my life, that is cluttering my mind. You can't just be coming to me because we cool, because we're connected, because we're family, because we're friends, because no, and think that's no. I may have been letting that slide for a while, but guess what? I'm starting to shift. That's what we're doing. We shifting. So now we can see that this is not beneficial. And where we're finding the things that are not beneficial to us, we're working on those things. We're not going to continue to try to be so active in areas that are not working for us. We're not going to be on the list of strong people in 2025 and for the rest of 2024. We're not going to be on. We're going to sit that one out. Let's sit that one out. I'm sitting it out. I already sat it out. Listen, we are sitting the strong friend out, or the strong woman out. Sit this one out. I'm telling y'all. We keep attending those festivities and no, I don't want to go to that one again. I don't want to attend. I'm going to be absent from the strong person. I'm going to be strong where I need to be strong, but I can't continue to be strong for everybody else. Cause that's taking a toll on me. And I want to be able to continue to pour, but I cannot do it from an empty cup. Yeah, y'all know. Y'all know this. Y'all already noticed I'm just co-signing. I'm just the co-signer. I'm just bringing it to your attention and making sure that you're hearing it, because sometimes we don't hear it. We don't hear it. People are not telling us this. Our friends and our family are not necessarily telling us this. Sometimes they are. If they are, that's great. But some of us, we're not hearing it. It's not being brought to our attention that we're doing too much for other people, that we're doing too much in other areas, and that we're not doing enough for ourselves. Self-help. Self-work. This is how we increase our self-worth, our self-love. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. I promise you, it's all connected and it's all going to work together. But we just have to be intentional about it. We just have to be intentional about it. Listen, I feel so good today. So for Self-Care Sunday, I decided what I'm going to do. Because as you're listening to this, it's going to be Self-Care Sunday. But what I decided that I'm going to do for Self-Care Sunday is I am going to get some vitamin C in me. I'm going to do a new vitamin C facial. I'm going to eat some fresh, cold oranges. I'm just feel like, I'm feeling real like I need vitamin C. And so that's what I'm going to be intentional about. That's what I'm going to try to be intentional about. And I am going to do it like I want to focus on my sacral chakra. I don't know how many of you that are listening to this really pay attention to your chakras, but I want to focus on my sacral chakra, and which is connected to self-gratification. And so I want to that's just what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I want my vitamin C. I'm feeling like I want all of the things. I'm going to incorporate a new yoga pose into my routine today and get the blood flowing and show myself some appreciation. And yeah. So Self-Care Sunday. I hope you guys are doing something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Something that has nothing to do with anybody else. Nothing to do with the kids. Nothing to do with bae. Nothing to do with hubby, mama, auntie. Because nobody. This is your day, sis. Remember that. Okay? So before we close this out, I'm going to give you guys your journal prompt. I want you guys to journal it and write about it. Let's talk about it. If you follow me, you know where to find it. So your journal prompt before we close this thing out is this. What is one thing that always holds me back? And what if it didn't hold you back? What is one thing that always holds me back? And what if it didn't? That's your journal prompt. I want you guys to write about it. Listen, I'm going to head out of here because I don't want to take any more of your time. I appreciate you for spending this time with me. If you want to get in contact with me and talk about sponsorships, advertisement, please email me directly at blogqueenpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the Thoughts of a Blog Queen column on the sharingpinkpromos.com website. You can find my link tree in my Instagram, all my social media, and I will have it down in the show notes. You can reach out to me. You can connect with me any kind of way you need to connect with me. Message me. I'm here. Yeah. Thank you guys again for always showing up. Shout out to Florida once again. Last month, they were responsible for streaming my podcast the most. I have not checked the analytics for May, but at the end of the month, I am very curious to see where I am being streamed to the most. But shout out to Florida again, because y'all have been streaming me. And I love that. I love that for me. I love that I'm being listened to and I'm being heard in Florida. So, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, you guys, I love you. And until next time, peace and blessings.
Let's do this. It's showtime.
You're listening to the Thoughts of a Blog Queen podcast
These are just my thoughts.
with your host, LaRae Renee.
A woman, her thoughts, and a mic.
Are you ready? Check this out.